What if the greatest risk in life was not failure, but never daring at all? What if the ghosts of your unlived dreams stood beside your bed on your final day, angry that you never gave them breath? What if every moment you hesitate is a chance forever lost? These are not just questions. They are reminders. Reminders that time is fleeting, that potential is fragile, and that the only way to honor your life is to live it boldly. Too often we are told to play it safe, to choose the backup plan, to have something comfortable to fall back on. But here's the truth. When you fall back, you fall into mediocrity. When you fall forward, you may stumble. You may scrape your knees. You may even crash hard, but at least you see what you are running toward. This is not a message about recklessness. It is a message about courage, about refusing to shrink yourself to fit into a life smaller than the one you are capable of living. So today, let us begin with one truth. You must take risks, because without risk, there is no passion. Without passion, there is no purpose, and without purpose, there is no life worth remembering. I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nelson Mandela once said there is no passion to be found in playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Think about that. No passion in shrinking yourself, no fire in choosing the easy road from the time you were in school, filling out college applications, picking a major, or deciding on a career path. You were probably told again and again, make sure you have something to fall back on, have a backup, play it safe, protect yourself from failure. But I never understood that concept. Why should I fall back? If I'm going to fall, I want to fall forward. At least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Without consistency, you will never finish. Without passion, you will never endure. So do what sets your soul on fire. Chase what excites you. Take the chances that scare you. Do not be afraid to fail. There was an old IQ test with 9 dots. You had to draw 5 straight lines connecting them without lifting your pencil. The only way to solve it was to go outside the box. That's life too. The only way to truly grow is to step beyond what feels safe. Denzel Washington once shared, "Do not be afraid to think outside the box. Do not be afraid to fail big. Dream big, but always remember, dreams without goals are just dreams. Dreams are clouds unless they are grounded in structure." Look at Reggie Jackson. He struck out 600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But what do people remember? Not the strikeouts. They remember the home runs. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Do you remember those? No. You remember the 1,001st, the light bulb. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. Fall forward. That is the mantra. You will fail at some point in your life. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will stumble. You will suck at something. That is inevitable, and that is not a message people expect to hear at graduations or in moments of celebration. Yet it is the truth. Embrace it. Because failure is not the enemy. Fear is enacting "I failed" countless times. Early in my career, I auditioned for a part in a Broadway musical. It seemed like the perfect role for me, except for one thing. I could not sing. I didn't get the job. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I walked out of that theater and prepared for the next audition, and the next one, and the next one. I prayed. I practiced. I failed again and again. Yet none of that mattered because I knew that persistence would eventually pay. There's a saying, you hang around the barbershop long enough, Sooner or later, you're going to get a haircut. And sure enough, I caught a break. Years later, I performed in the play Fences on Broadway. And here's the twist. It was staged in the exact same theater where I had failed that first audition 30 years before. That moment proved something eternal. Failure is never final. It is simply part of the road forward. On the first page, we discovered a truth most people avoid. Failure is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. Falling forward means using mistakes as stepping stones. It means allowing risk to shape you. Because without risk, there is no reward. Without failure, there is no growth. And without courage, there is no true life. Now let's continue this journey. The world will always need your contribution. Look around, and you will see it everywhere. South Africa, beautiful, yet scarred by poverty, needs hands willing to serve. The Middle East, marked by conflict and hope alike, needs hearts willing to heal. Japan has risen from devastation, but still longs for visionaries. Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana, Philadelphia. Every corner of the map cries out in its own way. But the question is never about how much you have. It is about what you will do with what you have. Maybe you carry knowledge, maybe kindness, maybe patience, maybe resilience. Some of you may have money, others may have only determination. It does not matter. What matters is that you refuse to let your gift stay buried. I learned this not in theory, but through my own stumbling path. When I entered college at Fordham University, I thought I knew my direction. I began as a pre-med student. That seemed noble, healing lives, making a difference, but reality hit quickly. I enrolled in a course with a title I could not even pronounce, Cardiac Morphogenesis. I could not understand the subject. I surely could not pass it, so I switched. I tried pre-law, then journalism, but my heart was unfocused, and my grades reflected that. They plummeted to a 1, a GPA. The university politely suggested I take time away. Imagine that, 20 years old and already failing. Standing at a point where the world seemed to confirm every doubt. It was in that low moment that an extraordinary thing happened. On March 27, 1975, I was in my mother's beauty shop in Mount Vernon. The smell of hair products filled the air, the steady hum of dryers, the chatter of customers. And there was an older woman in the shop that day, one of the elders of the town. I did not know her well, but I felt her eyes on me through the mirror as I swept the floor. Each time I looked up, she was watching me. Finally, she removed the dryer from her head, walked over, and spoke words that would stay with me forever. She said, "Young boy, I have a prophecy for you. You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people." Think about that. I was a failing student with no clear path, yet she spoke into me a vision I could not yet see. And though it seemed impossible, her prophecy came to pass. Over the years, I did travel the world. I did speak to millions, not in lecture halls, but through the characters I played, the stories I brought to life on screen. Millions who never knew me personally, still heard me, still felt me, still carried pieces of my work. That is why I tell you, your gift is never about where you start. It is about what you choose to do after you fall. Failure forced me to see myself honestly. That beauty shop prophecy taught me to believe in destiny, even when logic mocked it, and persistence carried me through. Risk is not only about going after jobs or titles, it is also about humility, about admitting what you do not know, about listening to the voices of wisdom around you. It is about the chances you take, the people you meet, the faith you hold on to. These are the things that will shape you. Never let discouragement define you. Do not hold back. Give everything you have. Because the worth of your life will not be measured by trophies or applause. It will be measured by courage. And when you fall, as we all do, remember this one truth: fall forward. So as we move on, keep this story close. Failure does not end you. It redirects you. Prophecy may come when you least expect it, and faith may carry you where skill alone cannot. On the next page, we will see how the combination of risk, humility, and persistence lays the foundation for everything that follows. On the last page, we followed the journey from failure to prophecy. We saw how the collapse of one path became the doorway to another, how a woman's words in a small beauty shop lit the spark of destiny. That story was not only about me, it was about you too. A reminder that when you fall, you must fall forward. Now let's move to the next truth. Taking risks is not just about chasing the next role, the next career, or the next opportunity. It is about something deeper. It is about being open to what you know and to what you do not know, open to people and their wisdom, open to the possibilities that arrive when you least expect them. Life is not measured only in the jobs you land or the positions you hold. It is measured in the encounters that shape you. Think about it. The chances you take, the people you meet, the people you choose to love, the faith you cling to when nothing else makes sense. Those are the things that define you. For me, risk was not limited to stepping on a stage or into a film set. It was the courage to listen, to learn, to accept that I did not have every answer. And each time I took that risk, doors opened. Never be discouraged. Discouragement is a thief. It tells you to quit when victory is just around the corner. Do not hold back. Holding back is another kind of failure. Give everything you have, your time, your talent, your strength, your heart, because the truth is this: you cannot keep what you refuse to give. And when you fall, and I promise you will, you must fall forward. That phrase is not a slogan. It is a survival strategy. Because falling forward means that even in defeat, you are moving closer to your goal. Think about Thomas Edison. 1,000 failed experiments, but the 1,001st gave us light. Think about Reggie Jackson. 2,600 strikeouts, but history remembers the home runs. These stories remind us that failure is not wasted. It is invested. I know this in my own life. Every rejection shaped me. Every missed audition taught me. Every disappointment drove me closer to the breakthrough I could not yet see. Without those failures, I would not have been ready for the success that came later. And here is the paradox. Sometimes failure is the best compass. It does not simply close a door, it points you toward the right one. My path was never straight. I did not march from one success to the next. I stumbled, I detoured, I even stopped, and wondered if I should go on. Yet every step, even the painful ones, led me here. So what is the message? Never let fear of failure stop you. Embrace it, use it, learn from it, and always fall forward. And that brings us to the heart of the journey ahead. Because falling forward is not just about risk or resilience. It is about vision. It is about understanding that your gift belongs not only to you, but to the world. On the next page, we will see how giving everything you have without holding back turns failure into fuel and makes destiny unstoppable. In the last section, we saw how falling forward is more than a phrase. It is a way of life. It is the compass that points us through rejection, through wrong turns, through detours that unexpectedly carry us to destiny. We learned that failure does not bury you, it builds you. Now let's continue by asking, what do you do with the gift you've been given? Every one of us is entrusted with something. It might be talent, it might be wisdom, it might be compassion, patience, strength, resources, or simply the ability to endure when others would quit. Whatever your gift is, the question remains the same. What will you do with what you have? Do not mistake this truth. The world is not asking for perfection. It is asking for participation. It is asking for your presence, your energy, your willingness to step forward even when you feel unprepared. Some of you will become business leaders, some theologians, some nurses, some sociologists, some artists or creators. Some will accumulate wealth. Others will accumulate patience and kindness. A few will carry the rare gift of long suffering, of being able to withstand life's storms without breaking. And yet none of these gifts matter if they are hoarded. Their power only emerges when you pour them out. I learned this the hard way. Early on, I thought success meant arriving at a destination, landing the role, earning the paycheck, winning the recognition. But true success is different. It is about giving all of yourself, pouring out your talent, your time, your prayers, your treasures, because what you give away becomes your legacy. Sometimes failure is the best guidepost for this. It points you away from the wrong road and toward the right one. My path zigzagged, from pre-med to pre-law to journalism to uncertainty. My GPA plummeted. I was asked to leave the university. It felt like the end, but in reality, it was only the beginning, because that detour led me to the beauty shop prophecy. That moment led me to faith, and faith carried me further than any plan I had made for myself. You see, life will never be a straight line. It will bend, it will break, it will force you to question everything you thought you knew. But in those bends, you will find the places where character is forged, where resilience is born. What is the point of all this? It is not about how much you collect, but about how much you contribute. Not about what you hold, but about what you release. The gifts you have, large or small, are not for you alone. They are for the world around you, and so I urge you, never be discouraged, never hold back, never let fear of failure silence your voice. Give everything you have. Give it fully. And when you fall, as you inevitably will, fall forward. And so the lesson deepens. Your gift is not a possession to protect. It is a responsibility to use. The world is waiting, and it will not be transformed by hesitation. On the next page, we will see how faith, combined with risk and relentless giving, shapes not just careers but lives. On the last page, we uncovered a powerful truth. Your gift is not something to hoard, but something to give. The measure of life is not in what you keep, but in what you release. Failure shapes you, faith carries you, and giving completes you. But this truth is not new. It echoes across centuries. It is found in the writings of the ancients, in the philosophy of Stoicism, in the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius himself. Denzel's story of falling forward is a modern echo of what Marcus Aurelius wrote nearly 2,000 years ago. In his journal, Meditations, Marcus reminded himself daily that life is short, that adversity is inevitable, and that our duty is not to shrink from struggle, but to meet it with courage. Consider how Marcus began many mornings reminding himself, "Today you will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, jealous, and surly. Yet they cannot harm me, for I will not let them drag me down." Like Denzel standing after rejection, Marcus prepared himself to fail and to be resisted, but to keep moving forward anyway. When Denzel failed auditions, when his GPA collapsed, when the university asked him to step away, he could have quit. Instead, he embraced the Stoic path without knowing it. He chose to fall forward, to use each failure as fuel rather than as a grave. Marcus would have nodded, because Stoicism teaches that obstacles are not blockages, they are the way. Remember the story of Marcus during the Antonine Plague, an emperor surrounded by death and fear. He could not control the disease. He could not erase suffering, but he could control himself. He could give his people calm in the storm, wisdom in chaos. He chose to act with discipline, with humility, with faith in reason. In the same way, Denzel teaches us, when life breaks you, do not fall back into despair. Fall forward into purpose. The woman's prophecy in the beauty shop was like the Stoic reminder of fate. Marcus often wrote of the Logos, the rational order of the universe, believing that everything has its appointed time. To a Stoic, nothing happens by accident. Even setbacks serve the whole. And so when the elder told that young man he would speak to millions, it was as if fate whispered its plan, not to promise an easy road, but to remind him that even his failures had a place. The Stoics teach us to ask, what is within my control and what is not? Denzel could not control rejection. He could not control who got the role or how many doors closed in his face. But he could control his persistence, his preparation, his faith, just as Marcus could not control the plague, the wars, or the betrayals of men. Yet he could control his thoughts, his choices, his character. That is the essence of falling forward. It is not blind optimism. It is disciplined resilience. It is training yourself to see failure not as punishment, but as preparation. Denzel tells us, if you don't fail, you're not even trying. Marcus said the same in another form. What stands in the way becomes the way. Different centuries, different voices, one truth. The barrier is not there to stop you. It is there to shape you when you stand on your own path, haunted by ghosts of unfulfilled potential. Think of what Marcus wrote. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. The ghosts at your deathbed are nothing more than opportunities you refused, lives you never dared to touch, truths you never spoke. Marcus saw the same warning. Do not live half a life. Live fully, even if you fall. So what does this mean for you? It means that every setback is a training ground. Every failure is an instructor. Every rejection is part of the forge that makes you stronger. Like Denzel, like Marcus, you are called not to avoid a failure, but to meet it head on. Never be discouraged. Never hold back. Give everything you have that is both Stoic and modern wisdom, to live with virtue, to act with courage, to love with depth. And when you fall, fall forward. And so we bridge two worlds, the voice of a modern actor and the wisdom of an ancient emperor. One through story, the other through philosophy. Yet both say the same. Life is not about avoiding failure. It is about transforming it. On the next page, we will see how this transformation is not only personal but universal, how your risk, your resilience, your faith can ripple outward and shape the world around you. The journey we have walked through these pages is not a collection of speeches. It is a map, a path for anyone who dares to live fully. We began with the truth that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks, that falling back is the path to mediocrity, but falling forward, even into failure, is the path to growth. We followed the story of rejection, of missed auditions, of grades collapsing, of dreams dissolving. We entered a beauty shop in Mount Vernon, where an elder spoke prophecy into a young man who could not yet see his own future. We saw that words have power when they are wrapped in faith. We watched how those words became reality, not instantly, but through years of persistence, through doors slammed shut, through prayers whispered in the dark, through failures that became fuel. We learned that risk is not recklessness. It is courage. It is stepping into the unknown with eyes wide open. It is understanding that the worst thing you can do is never try, because to never try is to bury your gifts alive. Marcus Aurelius would have agreed. In his private writings, he reminded himself daily that life is fleeting, that failure is natural, that adversity is the training ground of virtue. He did not escape hardship. He did not command an empire without trial. He bore plagues, wars, betrayals, yet he wrote not of despair, but of duty. What stands in the way becomes the way. Is that not the same lesson? Denzel tells us to fall forward. Marcus tells us that obstacles are opportunities. Two voices separated by centuries, yet one song. We learned that failure is inevitable. You will embarrass yourself, you will stumble, you will lose. That is not weakness. It is life. And it is in life's sharp edges that we are carved into who we are meant to be. Reggie Jackson struck out 600 times. Edison failed 1,000 experiments. Yet both are remembered not for failure, but for the fire that survived it. Denzel's own path mirrored this. A young man at the edge of quitting, turned back by academia, redirected by fate, lifted by faith. And from that detour came his destiny. The elder's prophecy was not a promise of ease. It was a summons to perseverance. And then we turn to you, to the gifts you hold. Each of you has something: kindness, intelligence, creativity, resilience. Maybe it looks small in your hands, but to someone else it could be everything. The question is not whether you have enough. It is whether you will give what you have. The Stoics remind us, life is not measured in years but in use, not in possessions but in purpose. You cannot control how long you will live, but you can control how deeply you will live. You cannot control the applause of the crowd, but you can control the strength of your character. Denzel's words, if you don't fail. You're not even trying. Stand side by side with Marcus's reminder, do not be afraid of death, but of never beginning to live. Do you hear how they harmonize? Both tell you this: your greatest danger is not falling, it is never stepping forward at all. So what is the call at the end of this journey? It is not to chase comfort. It is not to build walls around yourself so that you never taste failure. It is to live boldly, to risk courage, to embrace pain as the sculptor of strength. It is to rise each morning with the awareness Marcus practiced. Today, I will meet adversity, but it cannot take my peace unless I hand it over. It is to step onto the stage of your own life as Denzel did, knowing that rejection may come, but persistence will carve a path. It is to accept the prophecy of your own potential, the whisper of destiny that tells you you are meant for more than safety, and then it is to give, to pour yourself out, to refuse to hoard your gift, to refuse to let the ghosts of unfulfilled potential surround your bed, at the end of your days. Because one day, that moment will come. And when it does, the only question that will matter is this: did you live? Did you risk? Did you fall forward? Did you make your failures into stepping stones? Did you give everything you had? The Stoics would tell you, mastery of the self is mastery of life. You cannot govern the world if you cannot govern your own mind. You cannot lead others if you are enslaved by fear. Marcus wrote that true power comes from within, your thoughts, your choices, your discipline. Denzel reminds us the same, that talent without persistence is wasted, that success without courage is hollow. So let this final reflection be not just words, but a mirror. Look into it and see your own reflection. See the risks you have avoided, the dreams you have postponed, the fears you have allowed to chain you, and then break those chains. Step forward, stumble if you must, but stumble forward. Life is not about perfection. It is about direction. It is not about being unscarred. It is about being unbroken. It is not about never failing. It is about refusing to let failure have the final word. So I ask you, now, what will you do with what you have? Will you guard it in silence, or will you release it to the world? Will you allow fear to bury you, or will you dare to fall forward? Will Washington, if you don't fail, you're not even trying. Marcus Aurelius. What stands in the way becomes the way. Together, they remind us of this eternal law. Risk is the price of greatness. Failure is the soil of success. And self-mastery is the crown of a life well lived. So walk forward. Give everything you have. When you fall, and you will fall forward. And in that forward fall, you will find not defeat but destiny, not ruin but resilience, not emptiness but meaning. This is your call. Live with courage. Live with clarity. Live with discipline. Live with love. And in the end, may your life be a testament to this truth. The ancients were right. Power over the mind is power over everything. Thank you for walking this path with us today. If these words gave you even a spark of strength or a moment of clarity, carry them with you. And if you'd like more wisdom from the ancients and modern voices alike, stay connected with us here, because this journey toward courage, discipline, and inner peace is just beginning. Until next time, stand tall, fall forward, and remember the Stoic truth: power over your mind is power over your life. Thank you for walking this path with us today. If these words gave you even a spark of strength or a moment of clarity, carry them with you. And if you'd like more wisdom from the ancients and modern voices alike, stay connected with us here, because this journey toward courage, discipline, and inner peace is just beginning. Until next time, stand tall, fall forward, and remember the Stoic truth: power over your mind is power over your life.